In this video, I'm going to explain the templates in Grainferno. So that's this section down here. I'm going to explain what they're used for, how you can go about tweaking them to get your exact kind of sound, and when you might want to use them. So to get started, let's load in a sample. So I have this sample from my library. Drag it right in. And by default, it will sound something like this. So that's really not what I want. I could design the whole patch from scratch. Often I want to do that, but if we just want a quick sound of a certain category, we can also use these templates to quickly get to that. So for example, I can click on this grain template. Let's hear how that sounds. So as we can see, the sample stayed loaded, but it changed a bunch of these parameters and changed them in such a way that we'll get a nice pad sound. So this grain template is great for ambient pads and that sort of thing. There's a bunch more. So let's look at the tonal template. So that sounds a lot different. So it just narrows in on one little slice of the audio file, and it generates really fast, really short grains to make a tone. You can start to tweak the parameters to really shape the tone. And we could go crazy with that, but let's go on to the next template. So we have stretch. This one will just do a basic time stretch. And if we want to change how fast it stretches through the sound, we can just change the scan control. Okay, now we can look at the slice mode. So this turns Grainferno into a bit of a slicer. So now when I press different notes on my keyboard, and you won't see that, but believe me, I'm pressing different notes, and it's highlighting different parts of the sound. So we get something almost like a slicer or like vocal chops from that. Okay, now let's look at the chaos mode. So this one will just totally randomize a bunch of the parameters and give you a really chaotic sound. And this one's great for holding down the note for a long time, because you might not get a cool sound right away, but as you hold down the note, you'll get more and more random kind of variations. Okay, so that got pretty crazy already. And then we have this rhythmic template. So this just puts some of these controls in beat. So now we have a kind of a gated effect. And right now I think it's moving through the sample a little bit too fast, so we can turn down the scan control. And this is BPM synced also. And if we don't want it to just move through the sample linearly, we can change the scatter and make it a little more random. Okay, so that was just one sound and we turned it into a bunch of different variations. You'll get a lot of different kind of effects when you put different kind of sounds in there. So a vocal turned into a pad is going to sound a lot different than if you put any other type of sound in there. Sample some drums. So that kind of is a pad. You can try to stretch that. It's a little metallic though. So I'll try this guitar. Okay, so as you can see, the templates are super useful for just turning your sample. And this can be a sample from your library, it can be a sample from Grainferno's stock samples, or it could be a whole rendering out of one of your tracks or anything like that. But those are quite useful for just getting a quick sound that you can tweak a little bit later on.